There are no good people. Not you, not me. All we can do is have fun while we've got the chance.
Thank you for the chance to finally have some fun, Mauga. How's it going, y'all? I'm Euclidean Vision, and today we're going to be analysing the pretty brilliant new Overwatch short story, What You Left Behind. To start off, you can really tell this is written by Alyssa Wong, because it's actually good. Sorry, Michael. If you've read her award-winning Hungry Daughters of Starving Mothers, you'll recognise the use of these little narrative asides to help set tone and perspective, generating these genuinely nuanced explorations of character via internal monologue and the fluctuation between narrator and character to emphasise that deeply personal tone, creating these effective, visceral and rather personalised descriptors. And of course, she really likes her confidently flirty old ladies, so that we've definitely got at least one of those. There are odd occasions where the way things are phrased doesn't exactly flow all that well, but this is a pretty minor flaw all told, as it happens very rarely, and once the context has been understood, the tone of phrasing needed to read those particular sentences and phrases naturally can be adopted rather easily. I also really like the parallels between the past and the present storylines, spreading the context of our characters' pasts across their interaction in the present, even at one point breaking that narrative separation by having one flashback section be an actual dream of Baptiste's, not just a piece of history seen only by the reader, which helps develop Baptiste's relationship to his past and show his present turmoil because of it. And speaking of Baptiste's past, Mauga is fantastic. His insanely attractive charisma matched only by his insane physical presence, which can at times be so viciously animalistic so as to make him feel genuinely threatening. A great deal of effort has also been made to show how complex he is beyond that as well, with Baptiste's impressions of him complemented by his behaviour, backing up his violent tendencies contrasted by his sharp mind, his nihilistic worldview being questioned by his generous actions, and his heartfelt connection to Baptiste showing he is an actual person underneath all the bravado and mindless savagery. You can tell he genuinely values Baptiste, despite having no faith in humanity at large. This guy has lost basically all hope. There really are no good people left. But if there's any one individual he considers a good person, it's pretty clearly Baptiste. He at least suggests an actual respect for how Baptiste applies his hopeful outlook onto the world, and respects his will to do so, or at least he once did. Whereas Baptiste almost feels responsible for Mauga in a way, it seems, that he is the one thing that keeps Mauga from dropping over the edge into the abyss. And actually, Baptiste himself is expanded really well in this story, playing off his own personal moral uncertainty in order to grow towards the hopeful future understandably and justifiably within his situation. His personal connection to Mauga helps reinforce the elements of his personality that kind of correlate and contrast with Mauga's, further pointing out that Baptiste is very possibly a flawed, violent human being at his core, but also that how he reacts to that is what's important. He has hope, and it is that hope and the desire to care for others that saves him from becoming like Mauga. The sense of brotherhood between him and Baptiste is also really well conveyed, which creates this really satisfying vibe when they're together, using their fluctuating interpersonal tension to display their true reliance on and care for each other, and that familiar sensation of family that each one brings to the other, from the midst of the action and their natural teamwork, to the rather unexpected, quieter and more heartfelt moments between them. This is then all further compounded and realised as we see their relationship become distinctly split across the ultimate dividing lines of conflict. These more genuinely emotive moments from Mauga really serve to add a greater sense of nuance to his character as well. For someone so set on the idea that there are no good people left, and is prone to rather mindless violence, he certainly shows he is not without care or positive emotions himself. Both his overarching mindset of finding fun in the cesspit of humanity and his contrasting fondness for Baptiste help to show that this is a guy who knows how broken he really is, but that there might still be hope for him somewhere down the line. Now for someone there's basically no hope for, Nguyen serves great purpose moving the story along and acting as a foil to Mauga and Baptiste, and while he's a very serious character, his personality brims with disappointment and resentment for the world and its idiocy, a very strong supporting character who's been taking notes from Elderbug for their standpoint on economic theory. Mauga and Nguyen existing even also really helps Baptiste's initial release, fleshing out his character and showing much more reasoning for his existence in the world on like a meta level, whereby the defection of a low-ranking Talon agent actually serves as a springboard, not just for further new characters from within the vast ranks of Talon, but to direct the core conflict between Overwatch and Talon back to the forefront of the story. And this all works especially well if Mauga actually is Hero 31, which I now fully expect and I fucking want, please. As the story itself, its tight pacing helps focus the narrative really strongly, using the clinic to show us what Baptiste values and what he is up against from the beginning, that is then ramped up to full-on threat through the bar scene, which also helps introduce our true antagonists. These are then expanded through the flashback sequences, helping us gain an understanding of Baptiste's issues with Talon and the connections between him, Mauga and Nguyen in the present. The storming of Sinclair's mansion finally gives us some real action at Bastet, and truly delves into the personal relationships of these three men, which is then compounded in the showdown with Sinclair, as he shatters several of Baptiste and Mauga's preconceptions about the world, as someone who helped Overwatch rot from the inside out instead of upholding its lofty ideals, and joined Talon willingly rather than due to circumstance. This is a guy who had choice, something that was not afforded to people like Mauga and Baptiste, and he still ended up as depraved as the rest of us, if not more so. This theme of choice has also been super prevalent in Baptiste's character as it is, and What You Left Behind doubles down on that idea, culminating in Baptiste being able to truly make his own choices, from saving Sinclair and denying his more violent tendencies, to pushing away from the familiar natural sensation that fighting alongside Mauga gave him, and finally proving to his old friend that he's now prepared to fight for what he believes in. Overall, this is a huge improvement in storytelling on all fronts. The style of the prose, the dialogue, the character and the thematic developments, the isolated plot itself and its effects on overarching canon, even up to the meta-contextual proximity to Mauga's inevitable release and the accompanying Baptiste event. That is all fucking gravy, baby. The few concerns that I do have aren't really the fault of the story itself, as they're actually quite dependent on other things. The ending where Baptiste speaks to Sombra could have been a genuinely interesting reveal if their connection hadn't been revealed out of canon somewhere else. I honestly don't care where it was revealed. We all knew that they were friends. That kind of ruins this reveal, and it's not the fault of this story. This is again kind of an example of Overwatch's interdependent storylines kind of clashing with each other and producing a negative outcome in that respect. I'm also like a little peeved that the first Talon tank we should theoretically be getting is just an expansion on an already existing thing, but that's much more of an in-game complaint, and that tank being attached to such a strong character as Mauga mitigates that quite a bit, I suppose. And my final concern is that this story is very likely much more in direct service of Mauga's release rather than progressing the overarching narrative that the ending suggests, where Baptiste is going to go search for mercy. There does need to be actual further material to actualize that potential, or it's not really achieving much. With that there's definitely things to go forward with, but they have to actually go forward to be worth something, really. So as you can maybe tell, I genuinely quite enjoyed What You Left Behind, and think that it's very promising for the future of the Overwatch story. Whether there's going to be any more of that anytime soon remains to be seen. So at least let's keep hoping, as Baptiste teaches us that is important to do. Thanks for staying with me all. I've been Euclidean Vision. Like and subscribe if you want to hear more about the Overwatch story and other things, and I'll hopefully see you again next time. Take care of yourselves, and may the glorious light of Best Girl shine within you. Bye bye.